8%. Do you have any idea what that number means? That is last month's unemployment rate in the African American community, and it is almost twice the national average. So what needs to be done about the unemployment problem? Today, Congressman Allen West hosted the Conservative Black Forum. He joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you doing, Greta?
Very well. That unemployment rate is unacceptable. What can you do about it? And let me ask you a second question, which is why do so many African Americans, why are they not a member of the Republican Party, your party?
Well, I think one of the things we have to do, I'll take the second question first, we have to do a better job of communicating how conservative principles are aligned with the black community, those values. As a matter of fact, at the forum today, former Congressman J.C. Watt said something that was very poignant when he said that there are people that share our values and they stand with us on values, but they don't vote with us. So we've got to do a better job of communicating those conservative principles and why they can help to eradicate that astronomical number of 15.8% unemployment. And then once again, we talked today about those urban empowerment zones, going back to Jack Kemp and also something that Art Laffer talked about, how we can focus on economic growth within our inner cities because America cannot be any greater than the sum of its parts.
All right, in terms of those conservative principles that are best addressed, in your opinion, to beat that 15.8% number down to a much more tolerable, reasonable number, or even humane number, which of the four candidates who are running truly has those conservative principles best to address that particular problem, do you think?
Well, I will give Speaker Gingrich some credit, even though some folks on the left side are trying to turn it into a race-baiting issue. He has recognized that issue as far as the amount of people that have been put on food stamps, the level of poverty, and also focusing on trying to have a dialogue with the African American community. He has offered to go and speak before the NAACP about how we can get an economic revival and incentivize small business growth within the black community.
What is race baiting? How do you define that?
I think race baiting really comes out when people are, using the issue of race as a means by which to separate us and trying to draw attention, such as what you heard Congressman Clyburn and also Al Sharpton saying that Speaker Gingrich was speaking in some secret, race code or something of that nature, trying to draw attention to something that doesn't even exist and is not there. And I think you saw it in the 2008 election when people were really put back on their heels of asking any questions of candidate Barack Obama when he should have been vetted just like anyone else, like what we see right now in the Republican primary.
Well, it isn't just Reverend Sharpton and Congressman Clyburn. 40 Catholic leaders and theologians have issued an open letter to the two Catholic candidates, Speaker Gingrich and Senator Santorum, warning them to, quote, stop perpetuating ugly racial stereotypes on the campaign trail. Are those 40 Catholic leaders and theologians wrong, or are those two candidates doing that?
Well, I would ask those theologians if their values are rooted in Christian principles or if their values are rooted in liberalism, because I don't see anything as far as being racially motivated. Let's speak about the facts. And I think that's what we have to be discussing here. And you and I talked about this last week, where we cannot have a situation in the United States of America where we believe that only certain people of a certain skin color can talk about a certain issue.
In terms of getting the message out, in the last election and many elections before that, the African-American vote is a 95, 96, 97% Democratic. How do you intend to get your message out to a community that is, well, it certainly has not been very receptive to the Republican Party?
Well, I think that the fact that you and I are talking about it right now is a great indicator. We had about 4 major networks there at that Conservative Black Forum. It was covered in its entirety by C-SPAN. CNN was there. Black Entertainment Television was there. So that's the first step. 33% of the black community identify themselves as being conservative. So as Congressman J.C. Watt said, they share our values, but they're not voting with those values. So we've got to break down that barrier.
Care to wager what the African-American vote in your state, to the extent that it's going to go Republican in Florida, which one of the 4 candidates is most likely to get that vote?
Well, I would not beg to try to, look into a crystal ball on that. But I will tell you this, in the state of Florida, you have a black female lieutenant governor, and you have myself, the first black member for Congress on the Republican side since 1876, I believe. So I think that we have a historical connection. I think that the fact that I can be a role model, I can continue to talk about these conservative values of limited government and how we can stand up for those hardworking American taxpayers and those families in every community. That's how we're going to make that connection.
Congressman, thank you, sir.
Thanks so much.